You know, every time we're traveling on the show, whether you're in San Francisco, you're in London, or even Hawaii, I keep looking out for what the EV charging infrastructure is all about, because we've done extensive ground reports from Mumbai, and honestly, it is a work in progress wherever you go in the world. There's all sorts of cool, innovative things happening. There's a lot of people focusing on sustainability now. But the real thing we wanted to talk about was, we bring you all these fancy EVs on the show, but does it make sense to pick up an EV when you're talking about charging infrastructure in the country? We have a special report from Delhi NCR. Here, have a look.
You know how me and my Gen Z friends are extremely climate conscious, and we're actively trying to reduce our carbon footprint. That's one of the reasons why the clean mobility revolution ushered in by EVs excites us so much. Since most of us might be deciding upon buying our first vehicle sometime around now, is it practical for us to go electric? Does India, especially urban India, have the infrastructure to support EVs? Well, don't worry, Tech Today is going to give you the answer for that this week. We started our journey from the India Today Mediaplex, which is based in Noida. Our scooter was at 57 kilometers range, and we had plans of covering 8 charging stations spread across Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Delhi. We started from the India Today Mediaplex, and we are at the Noida Sector 16 metro station. It's around roughly 2 kilometers away. But our charge has reduced to 5 kilometers. We are at 52 kilometers range. We are in dire need of charge, but this point is not functional. As you can see, the wires are all tied up. There's another charging station a few steps away, but this space is used as a parking lot. Now we are heading towards another charging point, which is a couple of kilometers away from here. Our next stop is at a non-government charging station in Noida Sector 15. Our charge is at 51 kilometers. We've come to the nearest charging point from the Noida Sector 16 metro station, but it seems like although this charging point is operational, it's not going to help us because it's only functional for 4-wheeler vehicles. But we've also come across this vehicle called Hop Charge, which helps people charge their vehicle at their doorstep. We are now headed to a charging station near Scon Temple in Noida, maintained by the government. Our scooter is at 45 kilometers range. We are 6 kilometers away from our previous point, and we found 3 charging stations here in Noida Sector 32, but none of them are functional. As you can see, the wires are all tied up and the machines are dust laden and not operational. We are headed towards Delhi now in hopes that we might find an operational charging station there. At our last stop in Noida Sector 32, we were at 45 kilometers range. Now we are at Connaught Place, roughly 20 kilometers away from there, and we have just 12 kilometers range left, which means we were in dire need of charge. We found this Ather fast charging grid here, and we are hopeful that we'll be able to charge our scooter in a couple of hours. There are several other charging points here in Connaught Place in the middle circle as well as in the inner circle, and this one seems to be most useful for us because it's a fast charging point. The charging stations in the inner circle at C&B block were not functional. We charged our scooter to 90 km range in roughly 1 hour 45 minutes and headed towards our next stop on Minto Road. From CP, we've come to Minto Road's Bharat Petroleum petrol pump, and as you can see, there's a line of scooters waiting to be charged, but they can't be charged because the system here is being updated.
So I've been going around since morning because I had not seen my EV and there was a low charge. So I went around, and this is the second station I'm coming to. And in the first station, they told it is not yet functional. And then the second station, they are telling there is some updation issue and I'll have to wait. So because of this, there is a lot of issues which is happening. Okay. And there are only 3 EV stations for Ola because they have a separate charging slot.
Next, we move towards Sansad Marg to see if the EV charging stations there are operational. We're at Sansad Marg near the Constitution Club of India, and as you can see, all the charging stations here are functional. You can see buses are being charged here, and cars were also being charged here.
After covering charging stations in Noida and Delhi, we head towards Gurugram to see what the ground reality there is. After a lot of searching, we find one charging station in a residential colony.
We are here at Aether's charging grid in a residential colony here in Gurugram, Haryana. And as you can see, this machine is not working.
We move towards our last stop, a private EV charging station near the busy DLF Galeria market.
We are here at the DLF Galeria market in Gurugram, and as you can see, this charging point by Static, which seems to be a private player in this space, works. But the thing here is that this provides charging only for four-wheelers. As you can see, we are standing amid the sea of vehicles, and the climate conscious ones amongst us are trying to reduce the pollution which we are creating every day with these vehicles. And EVs are a way we can do that. But as you can see, the infrastructure is not so good for EVs. Most of the government charging points we came across were not functional. Some private players had functional charging points, but because of the fact that the charging port is not same for all vehicles across, it's not universal, it makes it an inconvenience for EV riders. So we have to work a lot towards building the infrastructure for EVs to reduce the pollution and make EVs a practical choice.